Hello everyone, this is G and I'm back with a new video. I think this might be the second or third video of the day. So as I showed on a different video that I made over the weekend, Tom King had earlier tried to play internet tough guy as regards to interaction he had with a fan with a con recently, right? Talking about how he had more or less cursed this person out and, try to be a big internet tough guy. Well, now he's provided some uh, clarity about the confusion about a mass thing at a con. Keep in mind confusion that he started with his first erroneous account of what happened. Because the account he provides here, when you compare it to his original account, are two vastly different things. And I just wanted to sort of respond to this. So, first of all, I hope everybody is well. We're weathering the storm over here okay. Um, I hope that everybody's doing all right. The world has gone nuts. That's all I know. Especially for those in Australia, and everywhere. But my heart goes out to them, especially the story about the dogs. Poor doggies being executed to make people stay home. Because yes, that's how you deal with a pandemic. You murder innocent animals so that their rescuers won't come out and try to rescue them. Oh, this is insanity. But so Tom King writes this, right? And again, this is I want to be clear. You can see at the top here, right, that this is indeed his Twitter account, right? It says Tom King TK status. This is from his Twitter account, so this is not someone just screenshotting what he said and giving their own spin on it. This is what he wrote, and this tweet is still up. Who knows how long it'll be up, but it's still here. So here's what it says. It says there seems to be some confusion about a mask thing at a con. That's confusion that you started, Tom. I'm about to call him Tim. You started that, Tom. Right? Just keep that in mind. But continues. Here's what happened. Mitch and I were signing at our booth at Awesome Con, which has a strict mask mandate in compliance with Washington, D.C.'s indoor mask mandate. Thousands of people there all wearing masks. Something tells me that there were thousands of people there. Maybe. I'm not quite sure how many people would have come out for this con in the age of COVID. But I would imagine at least a few hundred were there. But fine, let's take him at his word and believe that it's thousands of people. Hey RJ, would you please close the door? The cat walks around like he owns the place, but he never closes a door. But anyway, so let's assume for the moment Tom is right and thousands of people were there. I highly doubt all of them were wearing masks all the time. Humans are never 100% compliant with anything. But anyway, let's continue. So then Tom says, we spotted a dude in a Horshash, you know that I can't pronounce this word, jacket, not wearing a mask a few feet from our booth coming our way. We noted this to the kind people helping us with our line at the con. We went over and politely, oh sorry, they went over. They went over and politely asked the dude to put on a mask. He ignored them and walked up to the booth. Okay, unless you were part of the interaction, how do you know that he ignored them? Right? All you know is that he didn't put on the mask, according to you. But anyway, so it says here, cutting the line, dude came up to us. We told him he had to mask before talking to us. He seemed confused by this, kind of dazed or stunned. But finally he took out a thin Horseshash Rask nylon stocking with ink, but didn't seem to know how to put it on. It was tangled. Okay. Then it says, we asked him to stand back from the booth while he figured out his mask. He didn't move. We asked him again. Didn't move. At this point, I sent some language his way, no regrets. He finally woke up a bit, took a step back and put his Horseshash nylon sock thing. Okay, so what you're saying is that this individual, for some reason, had a difficult time understanding you or understanding what you were requesting, right? Why he has to stand back, why he has to put on the mask before he interacts with you, right? I would imagine that a nylon stocking cap, more or less, put over one's face isn't exactly going to provide much protection, right? As regards COVID, but they allow pretty much anything to be a covering, right? You could just do this, right? And you're fine because your mouth and nose are covered as if a shirt is gonna actually help anything, right? But anyhow, right? So he's clearly having difficulty understanding what you're saying. So instead of, maybe trying to take him aside, explain the situation, explain that, it's a requirement to wear a face covering, instead of being kind, right, and giving the person the benefit of the doubt, because you don't say anything about this person being rude or using profanity or anything. The only thing you say is that he ignored the, I guess, the security or whomever who went to go sort of intercept him. But you don't describe him as being a problem, right? You don't describe him as being profane or aggressive or attacking or making a scene. So it never occurs to you to take him aside and try to explain to him why this is a necessary requirement. It doesn't even occur to you to ask someone else, hey, could you please take this gentleman aside, help him with his mask, right? Because after all, you said that everybody is masked, right? Everybody is masked but this individual. So I would imagine that if everybody looks like this, everybody's looking like a ninja, then guess what? They should have no issue helping him put the nylon on, right? If that's all the issue is. Yet you decide by your own admission to send some language, and we all know what that means: blue language, profane language, his way, no regrets. So you don't feel the least bit regretful over cursing out a fan who, from best we can tell, didn't do anything or say anything mean to you, who was having difficulty understanding what was required, and you decide to curse him out. Real alpha male, man. Real alpha male. No wonder you wrote Mr. Miracle and Batman as sad sacks. Because you don't have a sack. But anyway, moving on. He handed us 2 books. We signed them quickly. We didn't want him in our line with that mask. Okay, so you had an issue with the fact that it's just nylon. Okay. He walked away a few feet, removed his mask, and went back maskless into the con. Okay, yeah, I imagine a lot of people did that. Because a lot of people don't like these mandates, and so they're only going to comply with them as long as it's explicitly required, right? So yeah, if it's required to stand in line to meet a certain individual and to get your stuff autographed, and then once you leave, yeah, I imagine most people are going to be like this while they're in line, and then the moment they get enough space, they're going to do this, right? We were later informed that the kind people helping us at the con, as they are obligated to do, reported this behavior to the con management, and the dude was removed from violating the con and the district's policy. Well, here's the thing. Purge Comics by Purge, so Purge of Comics by Purge, apparently contacted the con, and the con didn't tell him anything about an incident, right? So who knows? Who knows quite what's going on? If this were something happening at my job, we would have to interview Tom, we would have to interview the cosplay, we would have to interview people who witnessed the event. We would have to interview, I think you said there was a Mitch, right? At the beginning, yeah, Mitch and I. So we would have to interview Mitch too. So if this happened at my job, we would probably have to conduct a full investigation to get the full story. Keep in mind, the cosplayer, at least as of yet, hasn't given their side of the story, and the only thing we're hearing is Tom's ever-changing account, right? So let's see here. So you say that he was dazed and he put on a mask. right? And then once he left your line, he went back into the con maskless. So that's what you're saying. So there we go, right? Remember, his original tweet was him bragging about how, he cursed this individual out, right? Talking about how if you think I swear in my comics, well then, wait until you see me in real life. My man, you are like Daniel Kibblesmith. You like to play tough on the internet without actually being a tough individual. And Louis the baseball bat here does not like it when internet tough guys play tough because, well, they tend to misuse him. They tend to misuse him or want to talk about misusing him in very, very mean ways. And Louis just wants to play baseball. Louis really just wants to play baseball. He's a fine bat. Long, thick, good swing. He's a lovely bat. But you see, people like you misuse bats like him because people like you don't understand what tough is. Right? One would think that you used to work for the CIA, that you might understand, what an actual tough person is and is not. But apparently, you want to play into this tough guy, internet tough guy role. And the moment people call you out, you back down. Because remember, Tom. Tom, remember, Tom, you're the same person who harassed Jay Lee last year. And no, I didn't forget that. The videos are still there. The tweets are still screenshotted. You're the same person who harassed Jay Lee and tried to get him fired from DC, all because he did a cover for Ethan Van Sciver. Don't forget that, Tom. You're no hero. You don't know how to write heroes. And here's what's interesting about his bio here, right? It says Eisner winning writer, Batman, Mr. Miracle, The Vision, The Sheriff of Babylon, Omega Men, and more. Dad of 3. Father of 3. Boy, girl, then boy again. Okay, so you have 2 boys. You have 2 boys and a girl. First of all, men and women need positive examples of masculinity and femininity in their lives, right? But in particular, you are a father to 2 boys, right? 2 boys who are going to emulate your behavior. Now, I'm assuming your children were in here to see this, but still, it's quite possible that they might read about this at some point. How are you going to explain this to them, Tom? How are you going to explain to them how a man behaves when there's a uncomfortable situation? Are you going to teach them? Are you teaching them at the way a man handles an uncomfortable situation with someone who doesn't understand him for whatever reason, a language barrier, a developmental issue, whatever it is? Are you going to explain that at the way a man deals with it is to curse out the other individual when the other individual has presumably, let's say, has presumably not said or done anything to deserve a tongue lashing, to deserve to be cursed out by an artist they came to see? Because remember, this person chose to get in line to Tom, to see you. They didn't have to see you. They didn't have to go there. I would imagine that this person had to put in some time and effort. Now, maybe less if the event is local for them, maybe more because if they had to travel. But still, this person had to put in effort to get this costume, to, get enough money to, travel, get up at a certain time, right, to even get there. There's a certain amount of effort you have to put into getting to a certain location or event. This person liked you enough, liked your work enough for whatever their reasons, because I don't think you're a good comic writer, but they liked your work enough to go stand in line for whoever knows how long that was. I have been in line for events, stood in line for hours when I was younger, never doing that again. No one is that important, right? But I've done that type of thing. just to see one person for a second, a glimpse, right? I've stood in line for those type of things. Wrestling shows mainly, but still, I've done that. This person wanted to see you that bad. You meant that much to them to put themselves in that situation. And the way you respond to this person having difficulty understanding you or having difficulty understanding why they had to put a mask on, and you curse them out. See, here's the thing, Tom. This interaction may not mean anything to you, right? You do the con circuit, right? You meet hundreds of people, right? They come and they go through the lines and everything, right? One autograph is might as well be your 1,000th autograph, right? And this may mean nothing to you because you're on a different side of it, right? But whenever someone is in your line, right, this may be the first time they are seeing you. Same way, there's always the possibility that when someone picks up your comic book, this is their first time either reading your work or reading a comic ever. And you decide to potentially ruin this person's day by being an asshole. Now, I'm not gonna act like I'm perfect, that I don't have a temper and that I don't curse and swear when I get angry enough. I do and I do, but I don't dismiss that behavior. I'd be the first person to tell you that doing that is wrong, right? More importantly, my work has taught me that you need to be considerate of others, even when you don't want to be. I have encountered many of people in my near 10 years working in compliance and assisting in investigations of much more serious issues. Do you think I always want to talk to people? No. Do you think I always want to, deal with a person's emotional outbursts? Certainly not. But I've learned how to deal with people with a level of professionalism but also compassion, right? Because I understand that when they're in my office, when they're effectively in my world, they're in a place where they don't necessarily want to be, right? It's stressful for them. It's stressful to sit and be questioned about what you said or what you did or where you were, right? Because somebody has accused you of something or you are the accuser, right? And it's difficult for you to tell the story, or you're someone who maybe witnessed it or have information, and now you're being dragged into a situation you never wanted to be part of, right? I have seen how people react in those situations, so as much as I may at times be personally frustrated or annoyed for one reason or another, I have learned how to deal with people coming into my world, right, where they don't necessarily want to be, how to deal with them with professionalism, because I do work in an office, but also compassion, right? Trying to make them as comfortable as possible, trying to explain, why they are here, why this process has to happen as much as possible, trying to make them feel at ease as much as I can given the situation. And you, Tom, you couldn't spare a few moments, a few scant seconds of humanity, of treating someone like a person, of showing a little bit of kindness, even if this person technically was breaking the rules. This person came to your line. They were trying to enter your world for a scant moment. And you, by your own admission, throw language their way with no regrets. DC, Jim Lee, is this your king? Is this your king? Is this who you want working for you? Harassing fellow, in the case of Jim Lee, fellow Korean artists for who they work with, something that he had absolutely nothing to do with him. Someone who insults fans because the fan has a difficulty for whatever reason misunderstanding him. Where is your compassion, Tom? Where is your fellow feeling for your fellow man? Or is it that you believe a person is only your fellow man if they are lockstep and do what you do and think what you think? Because here's what I think, Mr. King. You are no king. You need a new last name, right? And nothing like queen or anything feminine. That type of stuff really pisses me off because, see, there are women are strong. Women are strong, and the whole, feminizing a dude, and calling him weak is something that just irritates me. Tom should never have, even to like make fun of him. Don't call him anything feminine. He doesn't deserve it because a woman is still stronger than he is, right? Tom King is nothing more than a jerk, right? He's a harassing jerk who thinks that because he works at the right company and spouts the right opinions, that he is somehow shielded from any criticism. And the moment he does get criticized, well, he changes the story. There was some confusion, or with the whole Jay Lee thing. He eventually took the tweet down and apologized. Probably, no doubt, after Jim Lee probably contacted him and went, "What the hell are you doing?" Right? But if Jim or anybody else in power at DC is listening, this is why people are not reading comics. This is why your industry and your company is heading nowhere good fast. People like Tom, people who don't understand the characters they're writing, but worse, interact with fans in a very discourteous manner for no reason. Right? I understand to a certain degree if a fan is salty with you or starts with you. That's one thing. But there's no indication of that here. It seems like the only sin this person committed was not wearing the mask and struggling to put it on. That's not something to curse someone out for, and it's certainly not something to brag about in a tweet. As if you know what in the world being a tough individual is, Tom. You and Kibblesmith are just alike. You don't actually know what strength is, so you try to front, right? You try to front with these immature behaviors that you should have outgrown in your teenage years, right? You should not be allowed to write comics. If I had it my way, you wouldn't be allowed to work in mainstream comics. But I don't have it my way, sadly. But I'll tell you this, you're certainly not my king. I'm not going to read anything that has your name on it. And I feel for DC because there are artists there are writers there are people who would love to work there. But instead of DC actually investing in quality, not just quality writing and quality art, but quality people, high character individuals, well, they hire people like you. People who do nothing to actually uplift or elevate the industry. People who do nothing to actually endorse the industry or make it appealing to fans again or draw in new fans. Because believe me, this doesn't actually help anything. You have not uplifted yourself. You have not uplifted DC. You certainly haven't uplifted the comic books you've written for. You're nothing but a weight, Tom. All you do is drag things down. You won't work at DC forever, and I certainly hope you never come to Marvel. Maybe in time you will finally grow up, if only for the sake of your children, who deserve a good father who can demonstrate to them what healthy masculinity is and what a healthy way to deal with an individual is. Because right now, at least with this instance, you're not modeling that, Tom. You're not modeling good behavior. You're not setting a good example for your children. Do better. Be better. And Louis here won't have to worry about people like you and Kibblesmith misusing him when all he wants to do is just play baseball. But anyway, that's the video. Please let me know what you think, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a good day or night. It's going to be a work week, so it'll probably be a few days before the next video. Depends on how I feel. Let's just try to get through this, right? One week at a time. See y'all around. Bye.